This is the exact process I used to make $140,000 in 2 months for one client that only had 9,000 Instagram followers. And you can take this entire process and just copy me and apply it into your system. Now, we didn't use any ads, we didn't use a VSL, no sleazy marketing, anything. So this was done through all organic traffic. So here's a little bit of proof. This is the cash contracted. So the amount was in New Zealand dollars originally, and so it's about 140,000 USD, and the cash collected is about 60,000 US dollars, and you can see the Stripe screenshot here as well. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to break down a few things, alright? I'm going to break down the step-by-step roadmap that we use to take this brand from doing $15,000 all the way to $140,000 in just 2 months, alright? I'm then going to break down the back-end system that we use to manage everything, alright? Because so that you can scale with simplicity and peace of mind, because signing on that many clients can get really complicated very fast, alright? And then the third thing I'm going to break down, and this is the most important thing, is why this creator was able to print so much, alright? Don't bother with the steps above until you have seen this part of the video, because I know there's a lot of creators out there who are trying to scale up their brands, trying to hit past $20,000, $30,000 a month, but simply can't do it, alright? So this is gonna cover how you can achieve the same thing. So, who is this video for? This video is specifically for trading content creators, alright? So if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Sufyan. I run an agency called 0 to 1 Consulting, where I help day traders scale their brands past $30,000 to $50,000 a month, and then to eventually achieve $100,000 months, alright? If you are another type of content creator, or if you are a growth operator of any of that sort, this video can help you out as well, but I'm specifically targeting trading content creators, alright? So let's get into it, okay? So some relevant information. This client was already doing about 15,000 US dollars from his low ticket subscription community, okay? What this told me was that this offer was verified, meaning that this person was already making money with his current offer, which meant that if I came in, if I added and adjusted the offer a little bit, we can make a lot more money with it, all right? And then he had been running his offer for over 1 year, all right? Which is another verification factor that lets me know that this creator is doing well, all right? Now, the client and most of his audience are from New Zealand, and some of them were from Australia. Now this is awesome, okay? Because of something called niche latent conditioning, which is something I'm going to break down in a future video, but all you need to know about it now is that niching down in such a small audience is awesome, because it allows the creator and the audience to have a much more bonded and a much deeper level of trust, which you would not have with an audience that is all over the place, all right? Now, New Zealand is known for its beautiful landscapes, but not its economy, all right? And this is something that the creator brought up as well. He told me that selling a high-ticket service like the mentorship that I proposed on the call would be very difficult. And I said, let's try it out anyway, and here we are 2 months later with $140,000. So this method can work in economies that aren't very wealthy either, okay? All you have to do is apply the right steps, the right conditioning, the right messaging, and you will be able to scale your brand just like this. So let's go over the roadmap, all right? So the first thing I want to kind of emphasize is money-driven decisions. We want to make sure that we get our clients their ROI as soon as they can. And in this case, he got it within 5 days of working with us, all right? This client, we want to make sure that every action that we take is directly allowing us to make more money. We don't want to be clean. We don't want to take our time with things. We want to move fast in the direction of money, okay? So the first thing that we did was offer perfection, okay? The client had included a lot of things inside his low ticket community. And so to introduce a high ticket service, which is what was gonna make the most amount of money, we needed to introduce something new, all right? Now, what we ended up doing was we started selling group coaching calls, right? So mentorship students would jump on a group coaching call a few times a week with the creator, and he would teach them, they would do homework, all of that kind of stuff, right? Later into the 1 month in, the creator actually wanted to switch to one-on-one calls. And that was fine because of the way we had structured it, so that people would not be entitled to a one-on-one call, but more so they could have the option to book in a call, right? And so something I want to emphasize here is that we are selling access to a creator, not information. You are never selling a course. You are never selling live trading calls. You are never selling signals. You are selling some form of access to yourself, right? And it's important to understand that because, for example, someone can look up the exact same strategy that you have in your premium course on YouTube for free, right? But why don't people do that? There is so much free content on YouTube. Why do people still pay for information regardless? It's because they are getting that information from you, from someone that they trust, all right? And that is why people will be willing to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for information that comes directly from you, okay? Selling access does not mean you are selling information, you are selling access to yourself. And the more access you are giving people to yourself, the higher prices you can charge. For example, if you do daily live trading, people will only be able to maybe talk to you through, like text, right? They can only send messages in the Zoom chat. But maybe a higher level of access is to be able to speak directly with you, even if it's in a group setting, right? And maybe the highest level of access that you can provide in an online business is direct one-on-one coaching. And we generally don't do that very often because we don't like to exchange time for money. We don't want our creator to be making money only if he is expending his time for it, right? And this is also a problem that comes in when you are trying to scale, right? Because if you are selling one-on-one access to 50 different people, that's 50 hours a month or a fortnight that you are giving people, and that's not something you want to do. But if you do it, you need to charge a lot more money for it. All right. Now, like I said, we've orientated ourselves for money-driven decisions. That's why we build out a very simple funnel. This funnel is simply to fill a form, book a call, and close the deal. All right. And the reason we do this is, once again, we can spend time making the funnel look awesome. We can spend time setting up automations and systems. No, what I want to do for my clients and what you should be doing for yourself is getting money through the door ASAP. And this is the quickest way to do it. And then we set up the sales team as well so that they're ready to go as soon as that first call is booked. So the next thing that we did with this creator was post some Instagram stories. Okay. Now, these were the stories. Every story that you post should connect with your audience in some way. It should have some form of social proof, scarcity, urgency, and it should have a call to action, okay? These 5 things allow you to get so many DMs if you do them correctly, all right? So in the first one we have here, we quickly connect with the audience, telling the audience, hey, most traders fail. Then we run through the social proof saying, but my students don't. And then at the end we say, hey, limited spots and limited time. If you'd like some help from me, it just DM 2025 to learn. And so this allowed us to get so many DMs in the first couple of hours. And a lot of those people, we booked them in and we closed them, okay? That's how fast we move. In fact, the first sale that we got was literally 2 days after signing, and the client had basically made their ROI there. All right. Now, then in the DMs, we run through a battle-tested DM setting script. Okay. You need to apply this proven script. Basically, it runs of 2 things. It runs through asking basic questions and then through qualifying questions. The reason we ask people basic questions like, how long have you been trading for? What's your interest in trading? They allow us to connect with the prospect more. They allow the prospect to feel special and taken care of. And then within that mix, we also ask some qualifying questions like, what country are you from? How are you willing to invest, right? So frame is key, okay? You want to hold frame throughout the conversation. Now, the frame we use is this is a limited time opportunity to help this person, okay? And we want to do this so that before the call and during the call, the prospect has running through their mind, hey, this is a limited time opportunity. They're taking a few number of people. I don't want to get left behind. I need to change my life. Okay, and there's a lot of pain, a lot of motivation pushing me to do so. Okay, if you don't hold frame, you will look like you're trying to sell them into the mentorship. You'll look like you're desperate to get them into the mentorship. Okay, and that's not what you want. That's how you turn people off very quickly. okay? So holding frame is absolutely key. Now, follow-ups are also key, okay? I cannot tell you how many times we have had a person that we messaged, they left us unseen, or they hadn't even opened the message, and then we messaged them 8 hours, 24 hours later, and they're like, oh, my bad, I got busy, let's book in a call. And we ended up closing them, okay? You do not leave anyone on a maybe or on some ambiguous state. Ideally, you get people to say either yes or a no, or a not now, okay? And if it's a not now, then that's a video for another day on how to nurture people, but you get the idea. Do not let leads go to waste because they did not reply, okay? Follow up every time, okay? Then at the end, you're going to book people for a call, right? Get them into a call after qualifying them, making sure that they understand that this is an investment, okay? That this is not a free opportunity. Now, you'll be surprised actually at how many people get into the DMs thinking that this is a free opportunity, whereas it's really not. Anyway, if you'd like the exact script that I've used for this client, I can send it to you. Just DM me on Instagram, all right? Now, post-booking setting. After people have made their booking, what we do instantly, as soon as we can, is make a group chat using the creator's account, right? With both the prospect that just booked and the closer, right? And now there's a nice three-way group chat. Now the closer and the prospect can talk to each other in a setting where it makes sense, where the closer isn't just randomly reaching out to their number or their email saying, hey, my name's John, blah, 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 blah. They may not trust them, and also it doesn't hold a lot of authority either. But if you have the closer in a group chat with the creator itself, it really elevates the trust that there is and also the rapport, right? We then send a video from the closer to the prospect in the group chat saying how excited they are for the call and that they've done a little bit of homework on them. But essentially, we just want to build rapport and commitment with people, right? This allows us to improve our show-up rates, all right? Doing this will allow you to get your show-up rates to 70% and beyond. And this is an evergreen funnel, okay? What that means is that sometimes you'll have creators that will launch their offer. They'll have really high show-up rates because their audience is super, all their high trusting followers are messaging, are getting booking calls, are showing up. But if you want evergreen show-ups, right, which means that you can leave this funnel sitting, it will book calls for you automatically, you don't have to do a whole lot, and you still want a high show-up rate, this is a great way to do that, all right? Now, then you're going to use the battle-tested closing script that we've developed, right? On the sales call, we apply our sales script that we've applied to over 500 calls to close multiple six figures for our trading clients, right? And most of these calls are just for trading mentorships, and so that is a summary of the roadmap that we use to make $140,000 in 2 months, okay? You can use this funnel as an evergreen funnel, which means that you can use it for months and months without having to touch it at all. And it will still book you calls, it will still make you sales, okay? It's a very simple funnel and pretty much every trading creator can use it, all right? Now, the backend system, okay? Alright, so let's talk about the backend system now. Alright, your systems should allow you to sign 15 new clients per month and deliver on them flawlessly. This means you need to have little to no operational drag, okay? If you cannot do this, then you'll end up with a lot of refunds, a lot of people dropping out from payment plans, and that's just a complete nightmare, okay? So, how do you automate delivery, manage sales teams, payments, and the back-end marketing all without losing your mind? Let's get into it, all right? The offer. Your ability to scale your brand is all based on your offer, okay? If you cannot deliver for 10, 20, 30 people, you cannot scale to $50,000 to $100,000 months, okay? And a common misconception that people get are including guarantees in their offer. Listen, you do not need to include guarantees in your offer. In fact, some guarantees make your offer look weaker than it would have been without it. For example, if you're offering the ability to get funded within 20 days or 30 days, or you're telling people that they can become profitable in 90 or 180 days, that sometimes lowers the trust of people when they see that kind of guarantee than if you were to not include it at all. Now, you shouldn't base your delivery upon your time, okay? And what that means is no structured one-on-one calls with clients, okay? If you sign 50 people, you will not be able to do 50 calls sustainably per month, okay? In fact, the more clients you sign, the more work you'll have to do, and that's not the way you should structure your offer. That is setting yourself up for failure. It will do your head in, okay? What you should have are group calls, courses, communities, okay? Those are the golden 3 components of any offer that has any substantial worth, okay? And if you want to improve your delivery, if you want to be able to deliver and help clients get results, you need to be able to do it within these 3 components, okay? You need to be able to provide more value in your calls, in your courses, and in your community, okay? And by focusing on just these three aspects, you can get people a lot better results and still have no more time of yours taken up, okay? Then you also have to manage the sales team, okay? Now, what I've done, and I've learned this after working with so many clients, provide everything the closer needs in one single document, okay? And you can see the headings that I've listed here. They've all been they're on Google Docs, and they've all kind of been pushed up. Anyway, you give them access to everything, the email, password, everything, access to whatever they need, and list it all out. Give them SOP guides on everything they need to do. Explain in detail what the offer includes. Provide a link for them to find testimonials in case they need it during the call. Provide a structure on pricing, what to do if people need to take crypto payments, what to do if people need to take bank transfers. Then also how to take on contracts and how to actually get people onboarded properly so that you aren't having to step in and help them with these small things, okay? The less questions your closer asks you, the better. Like I said, we don't want to be making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month with a brand that takes up a lot of your time. You don't want it so that more of your time is taken up with more money you make. That's not how things work, okay? Now, get the team trained ASAP with successful recordings of closes, okay? I don't know if you have this or not in your brand, but we do. Every time a new closer is brought into a client's business, what we do is we get them to watch a bunch of successful sales recordings, okay? And what that does is it starts training them to see what the patterns are, to start asking the right questions. Of course, we provide them the script, but to be able to structure the call successfully and properly in real time and seeing that is something completely different, okay? We make a Google Doc, like I said, that covers almost every question the closer could potentially have, all right? Have weekly or daily meetings with them to understand the demographic of your audience and how to improve your systems in any way that you can. If you find that people are jumping onto calls and not realizing that they have to pay, you can talk to the closer about that. You won't know about that unless you have calls with the closer, unless you have calls with the sales team, and that way you can improve that on the back end, and then that will allow you to get more sales. All right. Now, this is a small thing, but pay the team out once or twice a month. Okay. Now, ideally, I'd like to do it once a month because it allows for less operational drag. Like I said, the less time you need to spend in your business, the better. On top of that, get all the closers and all the sellers, the whole sales team, if they're working on purely commission based, get them to log their own sales and their own transactions through themselves and have your own record, okay? That way you don't have to keep chasing people down to know who sold what and how much they're owed and all of that. Let them give you the information and also keep a record of it yourself. That will allow you to speed up the process of verifying and paying people out without any hiccups, okay? Make sure you track everything that's happening in the business, as that lets you know where your constraints are. All right, this is what we have in our sales tracker. So you can see here that we're tracking how much the person has been contracted for, how much they are collecting, how much we collected, the call recordings, any objections they have. Right? We track all of this stuff. We track the show up rates. We track the number of calls that didn't close. Our close rate. And if I see that there is a constraint somewhere, we can work to bridge that constraint, and that will allow us to make more money. You cannot improve anything unless you have solid data, all right? And that's how you are able to scale, to 50,000 plus, right? With solid data, all right? Now, shower the team with testimonials, all right? It always improves close rates. Show people, show the teams, show the sales team the wins people are getting from the product that you have. All right. Now, let's move on. Payments. If you are taking payment plans, you will need to take special care of these people. All right. Upsides of taking payment plans is that you make more money, okay? Downsides is that people are more likely to not finish paying, but of course there's ways to mitigate that risk, okay? I'd rather collect $500, $1,000 and have someone then drop out later than to not have collected anything at all, all right? Implement contracts upon closing, okay? They do not get access. No one gets access until they have signed these contracts. The contract states that they are legally required to pay the sum total, okay? And in exchange for your services. That way, if someone on a payment plan later says, hey, I cannot pay this, I don't want to pay this, then you can bring up, hey, listen, you are legally obligated to pay this. Let's work something out between us. All right. And that way you're able to get people to stick and to their payment commitments better. All right. Get card details if they say they will pay at a specified date later, so you can put it through yourself, all right? We have a lot of people where we take deposits, right? They don't have any money in their bank account, but they get paid Thursday. That way, we get card details, we get them to put a deposit down, and then we get their card details saying, hey, listen, we'll charge you the X amount on X date, right? And that way, there's no operational drag. That way, you aren't sending them, you aren't DMing them, hey, here's the payment link, put it through, and then you get ghosted. You don't want that, right? Get their card details and get them on the call, all right? Now, like I said, take special care of these people by keeping in touch, okay? You can use automations, you can use VAs, like they cost $3 an hour, or you can just check in yourself. But like I said, we want to eliminate you as much as we can from this equation, right? People are less likely to drop out if they feel they're getting plenty of value and that they're getting, they're having, and you're touching base on them. Someone's keeping track of them, right? If they feel special, they will be compelled to stay longer, all right? Now, you can follow up on payments through their Instagram. They're more likely to respond there. This is just something that we had, this is just something that we saw. We had sent them texts, we had sent them emails, we even messaged them on Telegram, where we host a private group chat, right? But people respond most directly from the creator, okay? First of all, directly from the creator, and also best on Instagram, right? People are much more likely to be receptive to Instagram DMs than they are to be for anything else, okay? So that's just another point there. Now, back-end marketing, okay? After the sale, you need to get a testimonial from your clients. Okay, and try getting everything you possibly can. Every small win they have, every big win they have can be used to then put into your brand and compound and allow you to get more and more clients, okay? You can also get referral customers by simply asking your existing customers if they know someone who needs help. We have got a lot of people who are already inside the product, inside the program, and they loved it and they referred someone else. And that way we just got a bunch of extra sales just like that, all right? Implement email marketing into your funnel, right? Many people will book calls, they will submit forms, they will then not buy, or they won't show any more form of commitment, okay? However, as long as people are in your ecosystem, and that's important, right? We'll talk about this in just a bit. As long as people are inside of your ecosystem, there's always a chance that they'll come back as a customer. As long as you're able to keep some form of contact with customers, there's a higher chance of them sticking around and then eventually buying a few months down the line, all right? Speed to lead is super important, okay? Get a setter to call up leads as soon as they book, and you'll book in way more calls and close them too, okay? You'll be surprised at how many people submit a form but then don't book. And these people, it's not like they don't have money. They have plenty of money. But then the mental friction of having to book a call for some people is just too much, right? They don't even want to think about it, or they're not convinced. Either way, you can book a bunch of extra calls if you are very quick to it, okay? And then, of course, before the call, provide people testimonials and value videos for a higher likelihood of them closing, okay? The more trust you can build before a call, the higher likelihood of you being able to close these people as clients. All right. So if you do all of this correctly, you can sell between 10 to 50 people into your mentorship every month without requiring any more of your time or energy and still get people results. All right. You do not want to set up a structure where the more people you sign on, the more money you make, the more you're having to punish yourself because the complexity of the funnel and also the time it takes to fulfill. Okay. You want to try and remove as much operational drag as you possibly can. All right. The less you are involved in your business, the better. So let's talk about why this creator printed. Okay. Some creators will have more followers than this guy. Okay. He only had 20,000 on TikTok, 10,000 on Instagram, and 1,000 on YouTube. All right, around about 36,000 followers. All right, and I know some day trading creators will have a lot more than that, but they still won't hit past even $30,000 a month. Okay, so why is that? Some creators will post 2 to 3 times more than this content creator. Okay, he only posts maybe 1 or 2 times a week. 1 or 2 times a week, and he made $140,000 in just 2 months. Some creators will be posting every other day and they'll still be under $30,000 a month, or around about $30,000 to $40,000 a month, right? Some are even less than $20,000, right? Some creators will try and push their monthly community hard and still make less than $10,000 a month, right? Even with monthly subscriptions, they're making almost nothing compared to what they possibly could be making if they do this one thing correctly. All right. The reason this creator printed is because they have an authority ecosystem. Okay, let me kind of break down what exactly that means. An authority ecosystem, explained by a 5-year-old, is basically people consuming content that makes you look like an authority, right? At the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. The longer people spend in your authority ecosystem, the more they trust you, okay? The more you spend time with someone who looks and is posing as an authority, is positioning themselves as an authority, the more they will trust you. In fact, I'm using the authority ecosystem right now in my brand, okay? You have spent the last 10 to 20 minutes watching me, and in this video, I have positioned myself as an authority, okay? I have broke down the problems that you've had, the solutions to your problems, and how to help you achieve your desired results, all right? And now, before you watch this video, you may not have known who I am and whether you can trust me or not. Now there's a much higher likelihood of you trusting me to know that I know exactly how I can help you achieve better results. All right. And that's all an authority ecosystem is. There's a chance that now you might go on my YouTube channel, that you might go on my Instagram and consume more of my content. And the more content that you consume of mine, the more that you will trust me. And that's exactly what you need to do for your own content, okay? You need to get people to consume your content in any form possible, okay? But content doesn't just mean videos. It also means written text as well, okay? That might mean emails, sending people emails. That might mean Discord announcements. That might mean testimonials in your Instagram highlights, okay? Any form of content, actually every form of content on your brand should position you as an authority. And the more people consume that, the more they begin to trust you. And the more people trust you, there is a higher likelihood of them purchasing from you, okay? So this content creator made trading podcasts that are sometimes 2 hours long, okay? So for 2 hours, people would watch this guy in an authority position, all right? And so after 2 hours, imagine the level of trust this creator would have built with their audience, okay? Now, even though they get less than 2,000 views, they are the single biggest factor as to why we were able to make so much money, all right? You can have 1,000 followers on YouTube, you can have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, just like this guy, and still make 6 figures very, very quickly, as long as you position your content in the right way, okay? Now, I'll be making an entire video very soon on how to build an audience that trusts you. And along with the podcast, the other biggest component that allowed us to make so much money with such a small audience was niche latent conditioning, okay? And I'm going to make another video about that later, but essentially all latent conditioning really means is, are you solving certain people's problems, right? And the niche is, are you solving a very small and very specific group of people's problems, okay? And if you're able to do that, just like this creator did, you can make a lot of money with a very small audience. Now, if you're looking to scale your trading brand with a complete done-for-you solution, listen, we will come in and will apply everything I've just discussed in this video, okay? We've covered a lot in this video, and there's a lot to go through, and so you can do it completely by yourself, right? I've made this video so you can do this completely by yourself. But if you are someone who is busy, someone who wants to make money, and someone who doesn't want to be bothered to learn all of this stuff themselves and just wants to make money, right? This is the perfect solution for you, okay? And also, everything we've discussed in this video so far has only really scratched the surface of what we provide in our full done-for-you service, okay? Now, all you need to do is create content and teach students. Those are the two physical actions that I need you to do. Everything else we take care of, right? We set up the structures. We even help you with your content as well to let you know what kind of videos you should be making. We hire a team of editors, of clippers to run everything in the background for you, okay? We have taken and helped multiple trading clients, right, in the day trading niche add at least $30,000 to their brand per month, okay? And that is with the same sized following, okay? So we didn't help them blow their account up or anything like that. We just took their current audience, right? And this is something I want you to take away. With your current audience, with the people that are already following you, you could be making so much more money, right? But you simply do not know how at the moment, right? And so if you just apply this, you're gonna make a whole lot more money. But if you do end up working with us and you apply everything that we have just taught you so far, you're gonna make so much more money than you were already with your current following, okay? Now, I want you to check out this quick testimonial that I've plugged in. So Rohari, how long have we been working together?
About 14 days, I think it has been.
14 days. And Rohari, how much cash have we contracted?
We contracted 67,000.
67,000?
Crazy, bro.
Crazy.
67,000 in 14 days is mind-blowing.
And Rohari, how much work have you had to do for the 67,000?
Absolutely none.
And that's what we do here at 100 Consulting. And that truly is what we do at 100 Consulting, okay? If you want more proof, check out my Instagram highlights linked in the description below. Just check those out. Those go on forever. We make our clients a lot of money, right? We book calls in like it's nothing. We just like run up massive numbers like it's nothing, right? Take in PIFs. We make traders a lot of money, and that's all we do. We've learned how to do that well, and that's what I want to help you with as well. So if that's something you'd be interested in, send me a message on Instagram. Let's see how we can help you scale. And also, if you are a content creator that is not in the trading niche, or if you are a growth operator or an agency owner, if you have any questions, you can always hit me up on the DMs. I'm always open to help. And if you'd also like a copy of this Miro board itself, just send me a DM on Instagram and I'll sort you out. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.